Even if Farouk Kibet is the chairman of IEBC, William Ruto will still lose the 2027 election.
You just have to go that direction.
Even if Farouk Kibet is the chair of the IEBC, he will still lose 2027 election. Why? Because you cannot rig an election that is beyond an election. I don't think 2027 is an election. It is a fight for survival. 2027 is not just an election. It is an election where agents will not be paid. 2027 is an election where people will volunteer to be agents. 2027 is an election where people will vote and not be in a hurry to go home. They will stay and count their vote. 2027 is an election where we've said, if William Ruto is announced the winner, then we don't have a country.
For our country to move forward, wananchi, lazima tujitolee sisi wote. And if the sacrifices we are going to make, some of us, is to either defer ambitions or find a way of working with each other, it is worth it and we will do it so that we move our country forward.
What you cannot ignore is the excitement that came with Matiang'i's arrival. And even the desire of the group which has been sitting there before to ensure that Matiang'i is also in the same room with them. You also saw the meeting that happened at Wamunyoro. Again, the excitement that came to the crowd with the arrival of Matiang'i. So Matiang'i excites the crowd in a manner that others had not excited it before. That's not to wish away anybody, but it's just to say that he becomes one of the key individuals that Kenyans will be looking upon, and he becomes one of the front runners.
If Fred Matiang'i is given the opportunity to become president of Kenya, I believe that his mind and conscience is at the position where he can't take it any lower than it is. If Kalonzo Musyoka is president of the Republic, I will sleep well. All right? I think his experience, his time in government, he has served Raila, he has served Kibaki, he has served Moi. Those the servings he did with these regimes, all he needs to do is now is combine that and understand what were the biggest challenges and what were the opportunities missed.
The election ends at the polling station. It speaks to the first article of the Constitution that all sovereign power lies with the people. The IEBC, for all I care, could be headed by the president himself in an election that he is contesting. But the voice of the people is the voice of God. Vox Populi et Voice Dei. The people will speak for themselves. And this time, tutalinda kura at every polling station. And you see, this will be very difficult to rig because there will be several interest groups. And one interest group that people have fought for far too long sought to galvanize and to ensure they don't pay attention to the processes are my age mates. And us, we are the guys who think elections are too hectic, you can't stand in line for that long. And this time, these are people who said they're interested in the election. And the thing about us is we don't care.
Msiuziwe uoga. Don't even try to bet. Hawa ni viongozi ambao wanajuana. Sisi hapa tutakubaliana. At the right time.
Ni kweli wengi wetu tumetangaza kila mtu angependa kuwa rais. Hata mimi nilitangaza hivyo. Lakini zote tunajua na mimi najua Kenya ni kubwa kuniliko. Ni afadhali ndoto zetu zizimwe na Kenya iweze kufanya nini? Kuendelea mbele.
And I want to say, and I am not joking, and William Ruto, you know me. Unanijua vizuri. Unanijua vizuri. One of these days, utakuja kujua sisi ni watu wangwana.
For us, we don't take any of these figures lightly. So for me, the IEBC is a different animal. But then I look at this, and speaking about IEBC, I have to play a bit of politics because I'm a politician. I saw the former deputy president of the country saying that the Gen Z wachukue kura. You can allow Rigathi Gachagua to mobilize Gen Z for votes, and I cannot go out and ask young people to register. That is a joke. Two, he was saying in 2013, the Supreme Court pronounced itself and said this and that about the election. You need to interrogate which side he was on. That ruling, that landmark ruling that came from my party's contestation, this is the one that now he is quoting, telling us that the Supreme Court already declared itself. be it as it may, we are in a very monumental moment where we owed to each other and to our nation to come together in a popular democratic movement. And this movement is not only limited to the youth. We intend to work with every facet of society, but we have said, because youth is what we know, just the same way tribalism is what legacy politicians know. Because you find a politician like Silvana Sosoro standing in front of a rally to excite people and says, and that was in a church, could be today actually, and says that those other people don't have an agenda, they are just lazy, that if you are in government, tetea government, give money as sadaka to the church, if you feel sadaka is too heavy, pangisha watu laini wapatie pesa. That is your majority whip, and I am quoting him verbatim. That's what he said. And they sit down and people are applauding. And they stand up and in their efforts to glorify the defunct king, they say all sorts of things. And that is what we are saying as young people. Regardless of whatever it is that you have, we are coming through with a new political agenda. And this political agenda is based on the greater good for the country. It is based on ideology and philosophical greater good for our country. And because the other people have decided they know tribalism, they know cronism, they know the politics of money, what we are saying is, as young people, our starting point is, we know virtue, we know that we are young, and we know where we...
There is a photo that is doing rounds on social media. And because I intend to be an honest and accountable leader, I don't intend to lie or to repeat the mistakes of the leaders that we have in government today, who lie and deny everything, actually, even what we can see. Indeed, it is true that several years ago, I participated in a rally where William Ruto was present. It was not even a rally. It was actually a launch of a project, a water project, in Kegati in Kisii, which I was involved in.
When was that?
I think it was in about 3 years ago, if not 2 years
2022.
ago. Yep, thereabout.
Mm-hmm.
Now, at that time, one, had participated in the project, and secondly, all right, I had not yet understood the government of William Ruto because it was new. I had not seen it kill Gen Zs at that point. I had not seen the deterioration of the economy at that point. I was hopeful like every other Kenyan. Remember, 7.1 million people voted for William Ruto. I am one of them that voted for William Ruto, the 7.1 million of us. Now, it cannot be a disqualification for leadership that if you voted, if you are among the 7.1 million people that voted or even participated or attended a Ruto rally, then you cannot aspire for leadership. All of us are disappointed, and it's okay to be disappointed, because at that point in time, we thought then probably he has sold us a promise. You see, William Ruto sold a promise. He sold a promise to the extent that people are willing to forget his ills, to forget the corruption scandals he had participated in, and try and buy into this promise that he was promising. So when he has been unable to deliver, that is when we went to the streets. Even the Gen Zs did not go to demonstrate in 2022. They didn't go to demonstrate in 2023. They went to demonstrate in 2024 when it became unbearable. Therefore, anything ya huko nyuma, wachana nayo. It's like saying I cannot marry because I have a baby mama.
The problem with us today is much bigger and requires the sacrifice of all. So I like that approach, because when you come to the table without having saying I am the one entitled, you help us get to a decision quickly.
This country is bigger than all the principles in the opposition coalition. This country is bigger than Ruto himself. So I hold a view that these leaders, when they finally meet to decide on who the flag bearer will be, then all of them, without exception, must be willing to make sacrifices. If people are not willing to make sacrifices, then we are running a very big risk of having Ruto re-elected.